Live on Capitol Hill, where less than 1 hour from now, the House and Senate meet. And for the first time in nearly a decade, Republicans will control both chambers. The GOP promises an aggressive agenda, one that could set up showdowns with the president on items like energy and health care. But that is not the only drama ahead, with a rebellion of sorts brewing among some conservative lawmakers as two congressmen plan to challenge the Speaker of the House for his leadership post in an election set to take place less than 2 hours from now. A.B. Stoddard is associate editor and columnist at The Hill. Charlie Hurt, columnist at The Washington Times. Is John Boehner in any real danger here, A.B.?
Well, he's in danger, I think, of being embarrassed. There are now 18 members on the record saying they'll vote against him. They would need to push this to a second ballot to be in the neighborhood of 29. Doesn't look like they'll get there. If they were to surprise him with some other names that have not come forward and push this to a second ballot, they would need in the high 30s. So that would be a situation where the Speaker could probably hold on in the second ballot. Again, unlikely that it goes to that, but going to a second ballot, and even this number of defections, is the biggest embarrassment since 1923 to a speaker, an incumbent speaker, being reelected to his position.
Charlie, big embarrassment or healthy debate?
Well, obviously, as A.B. Points out, you know, it would something like that, which I think is unlikely, by the way, would be the first time in some 90 years that we've seen anything like that, and it would be embarrassing. But I think that if you step back, it's embarrassing inside the Beltway. It's only people around here that would much notice it or talk about it. The bottom line, I would argue, if you took the sort of the longer approach, is that it's part of a healthy, large majority that Boehner now controls. There's a reason that Nancy Pelosi doesn't have this problem right now, and that is because she has a very tiny minority right now, and they're all very liberal, the most liberal members of her caucus. Boehner has a much bigger tent. He's got people on all sides, and obviously the conservatives are going to want to make him feel as much pain as they can possibly make him feel. But at the end of the day, I suspect that we will have probably on the first ballot Boehner win, and if you just count the number of people that have publicly said that they were not going to vote for him, Boehner would win by a larger margin this time than he did last time.
Well, okay, if we get through the intra-party drama, A.B., later today, if the Speaker does get reelected, then you've got all the drama of taking on President Obama, and you say there are a number of interesting potential catch points ahead starting in February.
Yes. When the CR omnibus passed in December, which these conservatives rebelling against Boehner see as a total capitulation to the president, with it, they withheld funding for immigration within the Department of Homeland Security. That is going to be revisited. They gave him short-term funding until February 27th. That will be revisited at that time. That is another considered must-pass bill in which conservatives can fight against the leadership. In March, you have raising of the debt ceiling, another must-pass bill which conservatives feel they'll have leverage, the best leverage against the president to fight whatever leadership wants to do. Again, in April, you have the Medicare doc fix, and in May, you have highway funds. These are all must-pass bills, cliffs, if you will, when conservatives who think that the leadership is just rolling over for President Obama can pick big fights, and these divisions can rise again.
Well, and then there are the president's actions. He is talking about the possibility of more executive actions. That is not going to sit well with this newly Republican-controlled Congress, Charlie.
No, and it's not. And you also have an emboldened president. He's made a couple of executive actions so far. I think that it has kind of waked up his sort of eagerness to be president again, which we haven't seen in a long time. And I think that what we're going to get is a lot more of those things that is going to be highly offensive to especially the conservatives. And AB is right about all those cliffs that Republicans are going to have to get beyond somehow. And I think what their strategy is going to be is they're going to concentrate and work very hard very early on to pass as many sort of low-hanging fruit bills that are either widely popular around the country or have already been passed through the Republican Congress and were stalled for the past 4 years by Harry Reid in the Senate, and get some of those through. President Obama is going to have to to sign some of them, I would imagine. At some point, he's going to have to lay down the gauntlet and throw down the gauntlet and start vetoing. And when that happens, you're going to have this civil war between, and I think not just conservatives, but Republicans and the president, and we're going to get the old Washington blame game. And, at that point, it just sort of depends on, who plays it better. President Obama has always been very good at playing that, but I also think that, the uptick he's seen in his numbers in the last couple of weeks is going to take a hit, once that blame game starts, because a lot of voters, they don't care whose fault it is. They just can't stand any of them.
Good point. About 2 hours from now, we should know the outcome of that speaker vote. That'll be in our second hour of Happening Now. We'll also be talking about some of these executive actions the president might be taking. Charlie Hurt, A.B. Stoddard, thanks for setting it all up for us.